Alright, what's poppin'? It's your boy Big Rich, Queens, New York City, where we get busy. Ladies and gentlemen, come on in, wipe your feet on the rug, throw some smoke in the atmosphere. I just lit up some Miami haze, and it's feeling like palm trees in here, Agabi. Let's get down to some business. This next story coming out of the Buffalo News, written by Dan Herbeck and Lou Mickle. Salute. The link will be in the description box. Is the mob back? Feds probe Buffalo Mafia after calling it all but dead. Just 4 years ago, the FBI chief in Buffalo said the mafia here was all but dead. Some of the individuals who were leaders of the mafia are still around, said Adam Cohen, the special agent in charge of the Buffalo FBI office since the year 2017. But their organized crime activities don't exist anymore, is what he said. But now, federal prosecutors are looking for organized crime activities in a widespread investigation that includes a former DEA agent accused of taking bribes, two nephews of the man law enforcement has claimed heads the Buffalo Mafia, a high school teacher who sold drugs, a businessman who grew marijuana in the Amherst mansion, and the owner of a medical staffing business accused of fraud. These 6 men, and others who know them, form the cast of characters in the latest effort by federal law enforcement to prosecute what government attorneys call the Italian organized crime family of Western New York. The first player is Joseph Bongiovanni, a retired U.S. DEA agent who was arrested in 2019 of charges of accepting $250,000 in bribes to help drug dealers avoid arrest, including some the government says are connected to organized crime. He has pled non-guilty. Peter G. Geraci Jr., Bongiovanni's childhood friend, who owns Farrow's Gentleman Club in Cheektowaga, and his brother Anthony, a former Farrow's employee who's awaiting sentencing on a weapons charge connected to drug trafficking. They are the nephews of this man, Joseph A. Tadaro, who law enforcement authorities have claimed for years headed the local mob. Alleged prosecutors identified the Geraci brothers as unindicted co-conspirators of Bongiovanni. Michael Masicchia, a Grover Cleveland high school teacher, now on administrative leave, who recently admitted in a plea deal that he kept firearms, drugs, and homemade explosives in his Williamsville home while running a drug ring that sold more than a ton of marijuana. Prosecutors mentioned in court documents that a federal agent warned Bongiovanni in a 2013 report that Masicchia is an associate member and possibly a made member of the Buffalo organized crime family. Ronald Serio, a Buffalo businessman who lived in a spectacular EB Green design mansion on LeBrun Road in Amherst. He sold the mansion for $1.15 million about 18 months after police found marijuana and guns there in 2017. Serio has pled guilty to felony drug and weapons charges and is awaiting sentencing. 5 sources familiar with the case said Serio has been grilled at length by federal agents about his alleged dealings with Bongiovanni, Masicchia, and other individuals who have been accused of having ties to organized crime figures. Joseph C. Bella III, the owner of a medical staffing business who had previously been forced by the government to shut down his debt collection business and a company that sold bogus dirty bomb pills. He is under investigation for committing fraud while selling COVID-19 test kits, and he faces drug trafficking and gun possession charges. Prosecutors call him an associate of the Buffalo Mafia family. The latest investigation is a continuation of unsuccessful efforts that date back more than a century, long before the iron-fisted reign of the late Stefano Magaddino, the most powerful mafia leader in Buffalo's history. If there's a powerful mafia family in Buffalo, law enforcement officials have never proven it. Despite some successful prosecutions for murder, bookmaking, loan shark, drug trafficking, theft, and other crimes, law enforcement has never made a criminal racketeering case against leaders of the alleged Buffalo Mafia organization. Ladies and gentlemen, that's how you run business. But now, a highly regarded prosecutor working with Homeland Security and other federal agencies is taking another crack at proving the mafia is still active here. Assistant U.S. Attorney Joseph Trippi, who over the past 2 decades successfully prosecuted a murderous biker gang and homicidal gangsters on Buffalo's east side and west side, is leading a team of government lawyers who are trying to build a case alleging organized crime. Alleging. Trippi was not permitted by the U.S. Attorney's Office to talk with the Buffalo News about the Mafia probe. But he has repeatedly spoken about the investigation into the Buffalo Mafia, Italian organized crime, or IOC, in court documents and in federal court hearings. In an active organized crime investigation, Trippi told a judge last year during a detention hearing for Bella. The investigation reveals that organized crime members and associates, which include Mr. Bella, are involved in drug trafficking and various wire fraud schemes. Trippi said the ongoing probe led to a 2019 indictment against Bongiovanni, the former federal drug agent who is charged with taking $250,000 in bribe to protect Massakia and other alleged mob-connected drug dealers. And here's a picture of Joseph Bongiovanni driving a vintage car down the street. Now, personally, if you ask me, if you got a cop on the payroll, Maron, you know what I'm saying? If this is your line of work. But me, personally, I don't think the game should be played like. I think the cops should be cops and let the businessmen be businessmen, and let's see who could outsmart who. But again, having a police officer on the payroll does a lot for your business, no? I wonder if this DEA agent, keeps it real, or does he flip the script? Let's see what happens when the pressure's applied. Right now, he's pleading not guilty. In December, when Massakia pled guilty to drug trafficking and other criminal possessions of firearms, he admitted that he and unnamed others were assisted by Bongiovanni in operating a drug ring that sold marijuana grown in Ellicottville and Franklinville. So one of the guys arrested snitched on the cop. The investigation had some success already in seizing weapons, drugs, and money from 4 defendants: Serio, Bella, Massakia, and Anthony Geraci. A total of $440,000, 24 guns, more than 200 pounds of chiba, and other assorted drugs have been seized from those men, their homes, and their cars. But that doesn't prove the existence of a Buffalo Mafia family, defense attorney for Bella and Anthony Geraci claim. In the attorney's view, the days of fearsome Buffalo mobsters who murdered informants and stuffed bodies into the trunks of cars are long gone. With the death of Stefano Magaddino almost 50 years ago and the crackdown of Local 210, legalized gambling, and the end of Omerta, the code of silence, by the 1990s it was over. All the real mobsters are dead. Those days are over, the defense attorney claims. The lawyer was referring to Laborers Local Union 210, the union that prosecutors alleged was controlled by organized crime for decades. After a government crackdown in 1996, 28 members of Local 210 were forced to resign from their positions. In a non-criminal proceeding, the men were accused of associating with organized crime. 25 years later, prosecutors appeared to be also taking aim at suspected Buffalo Mafia connections in Canada. Salute to all my Canadian listeners. Prosecutors and Mafia experts allege the Buffalo mobsters control organized crime activity in the part of Ontario. Canadian authorities said a Hamilton, Ontario drug trafficker by the name of Domenico Violi had been the underboss of the Buffalo mob family since 2017, according to Canadian news outlets that covered Violi's trial. Violi is serving an 8-year Canadian prison sentence for selling meth, fentanyl, and other narcotics. I'm going to say let's free the Violi brothers. I don't know who's with me. According to wiretap transcripts, evidence presented by Canadian prosecutors, alleged Buffalo Mafia boss Joseph A. Tadaro named, according to wiretap transcript evidence presented by Canadian prosecutors, alleged Buffalo Mafia boss Joseph A. Tadaro named Violi underboss during a meeting in Florida, even planting a kiss on Violi as he honored the Canadian, reported Canadian news outlets. In November of 2017, when authorities announced the arrest of Violi and 12 other mob suspects in Canada and the USA, U.S. Justice Department officials in Brooklyn said the arrest included members of the Tadaro organized crime family. The coordinated investigation lasted more than 2 years and revealed criminal activity spanning the United States and Canada, the Brooklyn prosecutor said in a news release. There are definite historical connections between mob families in Buffalo, Hamilton, Burlington, and Niagara Falls, said Antonio Nicasso, a college professor in Kingston, Ontario, who has written 40 books about the mafia and served as a consultant to Canadian law enforcement. Because of the lenient Canadian laws, Canada is a great land of opportunity for Buffalo and other American mob families to traffic in drugs and launder money. Nicasso said he is watching the Buffalo Mafia investigation with interest to see if prosecutors can nail down the long-rumored ties between Buffalo and Ontario. Well, Mr. Nicasso, you sound like a hater. I just have to keep it real with you. So far, no one has been indicted for racketeering in the latest Buffalo probe, but the Bongiovanni case repeatedly mentions links to Italian organized crime. An indictment filed against a former drug agent last June claims Bongiovanni has friends and associates who were involved in drug trafficking with Italian organized crime. 5 sources who are familiar with the investigation told the news that federal agents have repeatedly asked criminals defendants over the past 2 years for information about the Buffalo Mafia. The sources said agents are trying to link the cases against Bongiovanni, Masicchia, Serio, Anthony Geraci, and Bella, in addition to an ongoing investigation into activities at the Faro Strip Club, to the Buffalo Mafia. Serio, the former Amherst mansion owner, pled guilty to felony drug charges and is awaiting sentencing. His attorney declined to comment on any possible connections between his client and organized crime. Every defendant with an Italian last name is being asked, "What can you give us on the mob?" said one Buffalo defense lawyer. A number of individuals whose last name ends in a vowel. Prosecutors are trying to connect a number of individuals whose last name ends with a vowel to organized crime. Tadaro had one word to describe all this when a Buffalo News reporter spoke to him at his Westside Pizzeria earlier this month. Nonsense. Tadaro has not been mentioned by name by federal authorities in court papers related to the ongoing organized crime investigation, but Trippi in court called Tadaro's nephew, Peter Geraci Jr., a relative of the reputed head of the Buffalo Mafia family. Since the 1980s, Tadaro and his late father, Joseph E. Tadaro, had been identified by federal law enforcement as leaders running the Buffalo Mafia family, but they had not been criminally charged and the allegation has never been proven in court. The elder Tadaro died at the age of 89 in December of 2012. May you rest in peace. Neither Tadaro has been convicted of any organized crime activity. Police efforts to link the Tadaros to mafia activities date back to 1967 when police raided the Sun Stag Party at Panaro's, a West Side restaurant. The 2 Tadaros and 34 other men were charged with consorting with known criminals. The charges were later dismissed in Buffalo City Court. "It's nonsense," Tadaro said when asked about rumored mob connections as he worked behind the counter at La Nova Pizza. "I'm 75 years old and still work 7 days a week. Business." Tadaro denied the claim that he kissed Domenico Violi and made him an underboss. He said he was aware of the federal probe and is especially upset that authorities appear to be trying to link him to drug trafficking. "They can say anything they want about me, but when they say narcotics, that bothers me," Tadaro said. "I am totally against narcotics. I see what it does to people." Tadaro added he had no contact with his nephews, the 2 Geraci brothers, in recent years. The restaurateur said he started working for his father as a youngster in 1957 when Joseph E. Tadaro opened the original La Nova in the city of Tonawanda. He said he is proud of how the business has grown and considers it a positive force in Buffalo. "I employ 150 people, Tadaro said. "I shouldn't even be talking to you," Tadaro told the reporter, quickly adding that he wants people to know he is an honest businessman with nothing to hide. One person who has testified before the grand jury is Peter Geraci Jr.'s ex-wife, Katrina Negro, who used to operate an adult store inside Faro's. Negro decided to tell the news what she was asked about, but she said she had a ringside seat to Buffalo Mafia activities during 4 years as Geraci's wife. They divorced in 2018. Hey, see, I'll tell you something. My dad told me 2 things. First of all, marriage is a business, so be careful. Second of all, you never tell your wife or your girlfriend everything. You keep some things back. Why? Because you can't tell the future. You never know how these things end. If you could tell the future, send me the lottery numbers for Saturday. I'll split it with you. When asked if she has provided names of witnesses or recordings to back her claims about organized crime, she said she could not disclose that, but added a lot will be coming out. Negro claims that Geraci physically attacked her on several occasions and boasted that he knew mobsters who could kill her. Geraci denies those allegations. In fact, Geraci, through his attorney, filed a lawsuit last year in state court accusing Katrina of libeling him. He said he has made false allegations about him to 3 police agencies. According to Negro, the lawsuit not only represents an attempt to discredit and intimidate her, but to obtain information she has provided to federal investigators and the grand jury. Cohen described Geraci as a law-abiding citizen who has fully cooperated with government officials in the operation of his club, providing surveillance video and extensive paperwork to prove all his transactions are legal. Farrow was searched by federal agents in December of 2019, several weeks after Bongiovanni's arrest. No charges have been filed against Peter Geraci Jr. or his business since then. Prosecutors in a court filing said that Farrow's was the subject of recent search warrant for evidence related to narcotics. Bongiovanni's attorneys have accused the U.S. Attorney's Office in Buffalo of conducting a selective prosecution that is unfairly aimed at Italian Americans. The Buffalo Mafia has more structure and substance, the 2 attorneys said in recent court papers. These allegations are rooted mainly in alleged activities of past generations, visiting the sins of the grandparents on their grandchildren. Was the FBI wrong when it declared the Buffalo Mafia family all but dead 4 years ago? Cohen, the former agent in charge of the Buffalo FBI office, no longer works there. Current FBI agents in Buffalo declined to comment for this story. So did U.S. Attorney James P. Kennedy. But Ronald M. Fino, a former Buffalo mob associate who has served as an FBI witness and consultant and also as a disgracia, said he believes the mob is still active in a subtle and profitable way. The mob remains very active in Buffalo, but they're a lot smarter than they used to be, Fino told the News in early February. They are less violent than they used to be. They make their money through fraudulent schemes. Now, they do their business through legitimate fronts. First of all, great story. Literally taking 4 to 5 mob stories that we put out throughout last year and combining it and making it a great story. So salute to the Buffalo News. Salute to Dan Herbeck and Lou McCall. Like, comment, and share. Let me know what you're smoking on. Like I said, Miami Haze in the building. And plus, it's my day off, so you know I'm going to have an edible. This is your boy Big Rich, Queens, New York City, where we get busy. Business. Salute.